So, Mr. President, how do you handle promises that you made when you were running for election, and how do you handle it? I mean, what do you say to people? Do you just I know people.
Who could forget that moment? I mean, listen, we love Clint Eastwood, but that was Clint Eastwood, the legend, talking to an empty chair at the 2012 Republican National Convention. Awkward, bizarre, fill in the blank for yourself. Donald Trump, he calls it boring. He says he wants this year's convention to, quote unquote, add some showbiz. Is he meaning showbiz like this?
Just let me raise you up. When you bubble bust, let me raise you up.
Okay. Maybe not like Kinky Boots extreme, although I don't know if my next guest might disagree with me. Mr. Trump definitely says he wants to give people something that won't put them to sleep. So how exactly do you make that happen? So we went straight to Broadway here, one of the best in the business. Ken Davenport, Tony Award-winning Broadway producer, has produced more than a dozen Broadway shows, including Kinky Boots, which we just saw. So nice to meet you and have you here.
Nice to meet you.
We thought we'd get a little creative today. And so essentially what we were thinking is if you had like the heads of the RNC come to you and say, Ken, we want you to produce the hell out of the best, biggest political party we've ever seen in Cleveland.
Well, location is a challenge right there. But one of the first things you have to know is you have to know your audience when you're a Broadway producer. So Democrats versus Republicans. Republicans are a very different group of people. I'm thinking a little more Super Bowl type convention here.
Okay.
And then it's about spectacle. Some of the biggest Broadway hits we've had, Wicked, Phantom of the Opera, Lion King. It's about big spectacles. So I would add a lot of scenery for sure. And the entrances for these candidates, it's all going to be about that. For someone like Trump, I'd probably take a cue from the big show we had a few years ago called Spider-Man, maybe fly him in. Yeah, for sure.
Fly in Donald Trump into sort of the stage, hover maybe, drop him down.
Yeah, he'd definitely swing throughout the whole auditorium for sure. He'd go back and forth.
Over the audience.
Everyone
looking up like this.
Breathing a little fire every once in a while.
Yeah, bringing fire to the little pyrotechnics.
A little magic, maybe making some super delegates disappear.
He wishes. What about if he's talking about maybe bringing in celebrities? Who would you bring in?
Well, that's a very good question because they pulled out a celebrity in the last convention. We all know how that went. You know, I would probably go the rock star route if I could. Again, I think a good halftime show in the convention is something that's sadly needed. I would darken all the lights. We'd put out a big rock star again, like the Super Bowl, and blow the roof off the joint with some big rock anthem in the middle of it.
So you'd rock out. So we have Trump flying above. You'd rock out to some band in the midst of it. Would you have whatever celebrity you would choose? Would they stop and give speeches?
Well, we try to add a little bit more fun, I think, to the convention. It's been very serious and very dramatic, but you got to inject some fun. Even the most serious of all dramas. Take a look at the classic Les Mis, right? Everyone knows Les Mis. Well, about halfway through Act 1, they pull out the Thénardiers and they do Master of the House, right? And it brings the house down.
Master of the House, of course.
Very good. So we definitely want to inject some fun about halfway through amidst the speeches.
Would you involve alcohol?
Well, that's the thing. Yes, without a doubt. One of the most successful things the Broadway industry has done over the last 10 years is we let our patrons bring booze to their seats in little sippy cups. So I think, he'd brand them himself, too. There'd be Trump sippy cups,
there
right?
You go.
So I think sippy cups, let them drink whatever they want and let them have a party.
Apparently that was the issue, though, the last go-round. There were like these drunk delegates running all around, and Kissinger was chasing them down, and it was quite a melee. You're all about that.
Well, I figure that's what happens in Congress that we don't know about anyway. So.
Right. So why not just put it all out for all the cameras to see?
That's right.
Bottom line, do you think, because Trump, I think perhaps he's thinking he's the front runner, he should be able to do this. Maybe ultimately he would pay for it. Would you attend a convention in Cleveland if Trump was pulling the strings and making it showbiz?
Just like the debates, I guarantee if he gets his way and is able to sculpt this and produce it like he wants to, it will be the most heavily attended convention in history, I'm sure.
Ken Davenport, Tony Award-winning Broadway producer. Thanks for playing along with us. I appreciate it.